And it should be on. It is on. So thank you, John, for your commitment. And yeah, have a good pizza. So yeah. So welcome along, everybody. I'm Chris Romano, as already presented by John, and his masterpiece for the first 4.5 hours. Since he also made the qualifying, I'll be your voice for the next 4 hours, and okay, maybe 2 minutes less than 4, but you get the point. Here we are with Marco Zaccari for Vesta Sport at the moment, but more importantly, there was a drive-through for the fastest car on track. It was Daniel Savini that went into the pits for a drive-through. At the moment, Nakira is the leading car of the Suzuka train, the Japanese train. Still 4 hours to go. We will end the race in the 8 hours. Second place is the FRL car in the Ferrari 296, and then there is Martin Ulrich driving for Holdfast Motorsport. It is very cool yellow and red livery. And there is Vesta Sport in 4th place with the FRL car in 5th place. And I am driver in 6th, the number 5 Ferrari for Flatout Esport. Then we got Macoretta for TSA Racing, Zaccari for Vesta Sport, and in 9th is the Belgian driver for Tour Racing, the number 14, and the 212 is MSR driving there. And then we also have a 49 team lineup, so quite a chunky lineup. A few penalties. Oh, no, it's obviously it had to be Hatsune Miku on a car. Obviously, that's on me. I should have expected it. How many Weeb cars are there? This is probably going to be the first auto comment, I will say. Fight on track at the moment, just when I have to put back in my Twitch chat, my YouTube chat, because obviously YouTube is very funny, and if I just lock the screen for a single second, I have to literally go on for the whole thing all over again. So here we are. Merke Garbi at the moment has Alfonso and Macoretta following just behind, number 5 177. Aston Martin, and the lap time at the moment are into the 01 and 00.6. Certainly, this is going to be quite a battle, since Alfonso is not really, well, technically he's not really battling for position since he's another class. But overall, I'm quite sure he will anyway. That is for 5th place. These 3 cars are 1 lap down from the leader, but I'm quite sure the leader still has to pit into the lap 122. Still 14 to go. And more importantly, it's highly likely that we will see the American driver going for the 2 up ahead to Ferrari and Aston 26, which is helped. Next, in fact, Ulrich goes into the pits. Is helped in acceleration and braking, but not so much into the top speed, as it's usual that Ferrari has a bit of a weakness in that particular region. But at the moment, it's quite clear from here. It's going to be Garbi onto the defending side against Alfonsi, which remains behind. Actually loses a couple of 100 meters. Okay, this is a bit too much, but some meters from the car ahead. So we'll stay for a moment on Garbi's wing. This fight is definitely, well, it's actually the closest we have on track. I think there is not situation in 15th place, because 4 cars all have the same issue. They have a penalty, a bit different for Nashibal, only 10 seconds compared to the 15 that the other 3 have. The gap is not enough for the Ferrari driver to attempt anything anyway. .6, last lap for Daniel Savini. Definitely putting an astonishing lap there. Best lap is, for whoever doesn't know, it is 59.000. The next one is 59.1. There are two 59.1. In fact, it is a bit of a odd situation for the Brower, because the team in the 14 basically have, they all have as a team the best lap tied with the fastest laps on the field, but they are still in 8th place after a couple of issues. 10 seconds behind Zachary in the 51, and this fight is rapidly becoming a battle for 4th among not only 3 teams, but I think it's slowly becoming one for 5 teams, since as time passes, well, not this lap around, but I think the Brower is definitely helping himself. 0.4, he just gained a whole second to the cars in front, to all the cars in front, in the last lap. Now, the Brower has at the moment 10 seconds of gap to Zachary, and another 15, and a sum of 15 to Macoretta, so 5 more. So this is actually quite a possible situation for the Belgian drivers, which is chasing the teams in front. Number 45, which has a penalty applied to their name of 25 seconds. Very close between the Italian and the Swedish driver. Very likely Alfonso is going to try something there. The lap times are obviously tied among the 3 teams. A bit gapped is Zachary. I suppose it is quite difficult to kind of guess who is going to come out on top of it if the pace is like this. Drive through for Wegman, 141, very likely for exceeding track limits. So 141, which has a drive it through. They will have to waste 20 seconds, or 30 seconds rather, for the team in 10th place for Holdfast Motorsport. Very unfortunate there, because the moment they could lose, but maybe not, but they could lose position on Tironi. It is tied. Still, you can see Alfonso how quick he is going compared to the Swedish driver. But still, oh, I think the opposite happened there with Alfonso, which has to defend briefly against Macoretta. Nothing really happens in that particular moment, since the Ferrari driver had the better line towards Degner 1 and Degner 2. As we go over the hairpin. First gear. Lot of grip that you have to use. And as the time passes, Zachary on the chase, and the rubber too, they are gaining some time as the time passes. As Wegman comes out of the pits, and Tironi is still 15 seconds away from the Aston Martin driver. As expected, that there wasn't an overtake, because there weren't less than 30 seconds. I think now it's quite clear that Alfonso has to go into the pits. It's going to be Macoretta, the one that follows Garbi. the one that will have to make the overtake quite a short time. Also Zachary into the pits he goes, and this promotes the Brouwer in 6th place. The 3 cars ahead are all lapping into the 2 flat. Then there is a hole being created by Garby, but this has been the rule for the past 4 hours. In fact, you can also see the gap, which is not 16 seconds, but it is a hole. Well, it is 16 seconds to Savini, but there is a whole lap to the leader, which is the number 4. For the moment. Very close between Macoretta and Garby there. So we go after the hairpin. Zachary comes out in 9th place. 51. And potentially now subs for the number 5. Sido Alfonsi. And here you can see these two. It could be in 140R, it could be. You have to be a bit brave there. I think there is a chance for it to happen, but one of the two has to back off and stay behind the other. I think it's going to be the something for now. As he follows the Swedish driver towards the main straight. But inside he goes. Oh, that was close. That was very close between the two. I don't understand why, for some reasons, the Audi is not how it should be. Like, I think you can hear it without too much trouble, just that it's actually the wrong source. Because you can see all the penalties slowly going away from your screen. That's because you see when you pit, the penalty also gets applied to the pit stop time. Quite clear about the fact that, for example, the 218 add 30 seconds more on the pits. Example. For 26 remains where they are. That's the FRL team in 4th place as Nakira goes into the pits as expected. And same goes for the FRL car, which is now going to get demoted from the 4th place they had. And I think they will also come out not only behind the number 5, but maybe there is a chance for the number 51 to overtake them, as a Brouwer also into the pits for the Zure Racing. Bit of a fight also in 22nd place, as here is currently a bit of an large barge between the 472 Simtech Racing, between, well, among rather, because it's actually 3 teams, not 2, as they initially thought. 42 of QRT and the 352 of the other QRT. There was a car going a bit over the track limit for a brief moment. It was Jacobs, the 42. And now they are in a bit of a pack. Oh, as a car comes out to the pits, just in front of the McLaren. Yeah, just in front of the McLaren, which then overtakes rapidly that BMW. I think that BMW was the number. Trying to search for it. I think it was the TSR. It was indeed the TSR going out of the pits, just in front of Avessa Sport BMW, which very likely it is Giovannini's one in 7th place, battling for 6th place. And you can clearly see also the Ferrari in white color behind the BMW. Do I think? So yeah, I think it was just for a moment. Yeah, my race control is not really happy with it because it's still changing the cars after the pit. I think it was just a lie because now it's showing the 51 in 5th. Earlier on it was showing in 7th. I was a bit confused. But actually is here in the number 5 and Giovannini follows the 51 behind an FRL car, but it's actually the wrong one. I thought it was the number 331, but it's actually quite far ahead. That Ferrari there is actually the 221. No, it's not the 221. It is the one in 2nd place of Stakeki in the 441. And also the 177 has come out of the pits, and now they are in the middle of the FRL car and the flat-out Ferrari. So effectively, it is the number 5 which lost the most. Very likely the outlap, because the pit is the same for all 3 cars. But the 341 maintained the lead over the 3 teams. The TSE has gained the place on the flat-out. So this puts, oh, there is a car out. It is the number 40. I have to check. It is number 41. This gate one with, oh, tremendous damage to this car. Go for a brief replay of this Porsche. It was already damaged. But I think, oh, they also went once more into the wall. Was really helping the situation, that one there. So now we'll stay here because there are quite a few battles. There is a one for 5th, which is actually for 4th if you really consider the 1.3 seconds of gap. There's one for 8th place because the Wegman in the 141 is in front of Van Tielen in the 14. Van Tielen, which is quite a name in the Sprint Cup. Takes place into the first day, and now is also 1 second of gap to the number 5 behind. So some clean air for Arthur, both in front and from the car following. Wegman here still having some troubles with the car behind. Remember that Wegman just went through the pits for a penalty, and that penalty may have had an impact to the race. Just 10 minutes after said penalty had been issued. Very close between the two, but I think, oh, there was a space. There was just the width of a car. Nothing really happened there. Meanwhile here, it's Eckert which lost some time to Harter already. And it's going to be the outside line for the 177. Cut back for the Aston Martin. And the FRL car remains in front of the TSE. Over the back straight. Could be some chance here for Harter. So also there is the battle here between Vantine and Wegman. Vantine which is now in front of Wegman for 8th place. The next objective is around 6 seconds up ahead, Giovannini's car. And the 7 is off, I think. It was a handy. Something happened to this Honda in here. Oh, he went over the curb in the 130R. Kind of ruined the tires and went back over on the racetrack. Lost around 15 seconds because of that mistake, but they are still in 15th place and remaining there. And for now, defense still against the American driver in the 177. Time obviously helps Harter. The current situation is that the 177 still is behind Eck. I think that could change rapidly. Practically at 2 flat for both drivers. This time around it was Ponticelli and Giovannini losing on the duo with a 2:00.6. BMW there leaves up the space, slightly impacting Harter's pace, but not too much. They still remain on the inside though. They let the Ferrari pass by, and now same goes for the Aston Martin. I think that was the 52. It was indeed the 52. For now, these two are practically going for a race of their own, because Botticelli is not really the same pace as the cars in front. stuff in here in number 93. Very close to the TT1 in front there. That's for 12th place. A Ferrari car which is losing around the second per lap. Van Tielen, out of nowhere, 59.125 personal team best. And moreover, that's an entire, okay, not 2 seconds, but it's around 1.7 seconds of advantage over Giovannini's lap time, which Giovannini himself gained a whole second to Ponticelli. So at this moment, the number 5 is not really in a great shape, possibly getting followed by not only 1 but 3 different teams for the 6th place. And if Leclerc and Arte start battling, that could become very easily a battle for 4th place. Oh, there was a contact there. Oh, I think yes, there was several cars. There were several cars getting involved there. I have to have a better view of it. I think it was a Ferrari going over the McLaren, and then it was another Ferrari getting involved and spinning on the spot. It was Conway hitting the number 43 of the dog. You can see from here, I think it was a Simtech car which didn't impact it, and there was also a Ferrari getting involved there, but I just couldn't pinpoint which one it was. And it's going to be a drive-through for Abusser in the Mercedes 88 too. Going back for battle for 4th place, as this one here is not really a battle for position compared to this one. Over a splitter we go. Also, there was the overtake between Staffin and the Caddy. I wonder if it was over the hairpin. It was a lunge on inside for the Aston Martin 93. The Ferrari going a bit wide there on entry. That's position done for Staffin in the TACE Racing, with the American in the sister car now in 5th place. Same car, and imagine also same setup. The whole top 9, and if we really go below, it's actually 13 teams apart from one. All of them are into the 200. Very close between these two teams. Completely different cars too. One has a rear engine V6, the other has a front engine, British manufactured. V8. It's also helps different kind of approaches on the way you drive the car because of the engine placement. A front engine kind of brings your car a bit more towards... oh, there was another contact there. A couple of cars getting involved. I think it was the 88. 68, apologies. No, it wasn't 68. Just have to kind of see where they are, because nothing actually popped out in my race control, so maybe it was just a... Whoa! There was Eck going a bit off the racing line there. I think the rear wasn't too happy about the decision being taken by the Swedish driver. And now Justin follows closely. That was a chance for the American driver, but clearly that was not taken into account quickly enough. So for now the Swedish driver remains in the lead of this virtually long train. So I'm also considering the fact that because it's a 3-hour stint that remains on the clock, 5 seconds are not really that much. You can see that it is clean air for Eck, and looking at the lap times, there is not going to be any car in front for the whole time, since there is a 90 seconds gap between Savini and Eck. So it's quite clear that Eck is obviously battling for only the fourth. He doesn't really have to aim upper, which means that he will defend even more, consider that any possible front end approach is not going to happen. These two starting to battle may help the number 14, which is at the moment the quickest of the whole situation, although Wegman is starting to get back into rhythm. Now the gap is 4.6 on Van Tielen, which also has a 1.5 second gap on Giovannini, who shortened the gap to 3.2 seconds to Ponticelli, who enlarged the gap to 7 seconds to the duo in front. As per last lap, the quickest car was Wegman's one, and it was very close over the curb and inside. And Hunter is going to go for the lunge on inside. Okay, there was space, to be fair. There was space, there was some time. The gap wasn't that much, so I thought it was going to be an overtake occasion for Hunter, but he actually decided to not commit for the move and remain behind. And this is closely becoming a battle for 6th, because the gap is very large. 2 seconds have been lost in just the last lap. As I said earlier, the number 5 is not really battling for overall position per se. In the leaderboard, there will be a different leaderboard for AM class and Pro class. But still, an overall position is being contested at the moment, and the flat out team who has which has a car in the lead of the whole race by 25 seconds also now has a car in the 6th place, which is obviously a good achievement for the team. As you can see already, that Van Tielen in just half a lap has recovered the gap to 1.5 seconds to just half a second. 59.7, a very good lap time there. This Ferrari behind is looking forward to the car number 51. Oh, there was a contact. I think there was a contact between the FRL car and the Vesta Sport. It is quite clear that it was a contact between the 51 and the 441 of Sakeki, which is actually the second placed car. And now Van Tielen is very close to the car in front. Centimeters apart between these two. Cut back. And I think it's going to be over the grass. There is a slight contact between the two. And it's not helping that behind is a car which actually has the right to pass. Blue flags showing for these two who are battling for position, but also they have to battle for 6th place. Van Tielen in just the last lap gained 6/10 of a second over the car in front. Appreciate the light, practically trying to tell him that it is better overall to let the Ferrari pass by than to battle themselves, because there is another objective in front they both are keen to take. This will obviously help the number 5 up ahead, which is looking in the mirror the situation, which is not really a good one for Sakeki 2, which is 23 seconds ahead of Savini, but this doesn't mean they are safe from them. And they will likely try to avoid in all possible ways to get involved in this fight. As a matter of fact, in just the last lap it was a loss over into turn 1. This can't happen. I don't know why my T became a D for a moment. It can't happen. I don't have a call, but that seems like the pronunciation. And into the inside they try. There isn't enough space to fit a Ferrari, but there is enough space now to try to go over the inside, since they move a bit much over the outside. Over the curb, lost a bit of grip, but they are still on the inside of Degner 1. They push the Ferrari out over the Assetto frame. It's going to be also Sakeki trying to go over the inside into Degner 2. But remember, they are not in this fight. They're actually in 2nd place. And they have to pass. They go over the inside, breaking this battle in two. Obviously Van Tielen quite angry about that. And I don't think this is over, because yes, the Porsche driver has the right to pass, but also Van Tielen will try to pass as early as possible. He goes for the inside. This is a battle for a position completely different from what they are on. Since they are not really battling for 2nd, they are battling for 7th. But the pace is clearly better than the top 3 teams at the moment. As we are here, I think it's worth to notice what brought the 441 into this. It was actually the 51 going for the move, pushing the 441 over the outside, and thus bringing some troubles for this car here, which is now losing a 2.5 seconds per lap to Savini, which is now 21 seconds behind. It was 23.5 2 laps ago, and with the current rhythm and 3 hours to go, there could be something happening from there. He's now looking at the battle in front, since 14 really has the pace to make it out. Oh, there was a bit of a side by side there between not completely sure which cars. They both have to let Giovannini pass by. It's actually Ponticelli battling for. Oh, there's a contact. Oh, the Ferrari's off. And the BMW going sideways. Oh, and there is also contact with Van Tielen, which actually passes Ponticelli and Giovannini. All went into pieces. Wegman also in front of Giovannini. Calamity for the Vespa Sports team, which is now in 9th place. As we go for the replay, what really happened? It was Ponticelli going a bit wide, another Ferrari trying to make the overtake over them. Then it was Giovannini going over the inside, the two Italians colliding, putting the Ferrari over the gravel. They even went sideways in front of Van Tielen, which take greatly the place over Ponticelli. And Wegman also comes after and takes the place number 8. So now Giovannini is in 9th. All of a sudden, calamity for the Vespa Sport team. And now they have to recover the time they've lost. So these couple of contacts. And try to get back into at least 7th place, which is not as far away. And all sparkled from a mistake by Ponticelli. And then a bit of an aggressive move by Giovannini, which took the Ferrari ahead a bit by surprise, very likely. Then contact, then half the car was on the grass, trying to recover. It was then a gravel trap for Giovannini. Wegman is very likely the happiest of them all, as he gained the place. He has Ponticelli in front, and Van Tielen is not really that far away. 7 seconds have been lost by both Ponticelli and Giovannini. Van Tielen went away from that with minor consequences, only a second. But I think we can see it back, what happened to Van Tielen. You can see from here, looking at the two cars colliding, braking, making contacts actually with the BMW. I didn't think there was contact from the helicam. There was actually some contact between these two. Minor damage, very likely, nothing too much to worry about, but still some contact has been brought to that car. Also there is Tironi and Murasaki battling for the position number 10. The BMW goes a bit out of spoon, offline, over the marbles, and loses the place. Oh, there's a contact also between these two. Murasaki stays ahead in the 2-1-2 for MSR, blocking the BMW, using a back marker as a wall in the 130R. You can't really make it side by side, so it's going to be Murasaki in front of Tironi, number 77. That's for 10th place, top 10 now for the MSR. Also Wegman takes the place on Ponticelli. All of a sudden there was some gap. I think there was a mistake there for the number 5. I will try to go for the replay, but I'm quite sure that if I do, in fact, you can see the already another contact between these two. It's not going to be a happy discussion between Ponticelli and Giovannini. It has been already another contact. Giovannini gets a 5-second penalty. Very likely, for what I think it was a 5-second penalty for car number 51 for causing the collision. The lights asking to pass at this point. There's going to be a third attempt for the move. Closely together over the main straight, and the move will happen one way or another. Another contact with these two, clearly not happy about any of it, and still Ponticelli remains on the inside, tries to defend as much as possible. At this point it's just a matter of principle more than anything. You just want to stay in front of the other BMW. I mean, they have all the right to do so. In the meantime, we're going to see what brought... Oh, a bit too late, unfortunately. Taki told me this was the overtake. Clearly the race control made a bit of late over that. Try to go manually. I don't think I can. Let's do it perfectly. Still these two fighting for 8th place overall. In all of these, Giovannini lost another 3.5 seconds from Bergman. Where 140R, something could happen over the curb a bit too aggressively. He lost another half second. Bergman obviously not really looking back at this point, he's just looking in front, although 6 seconds in front. Vantinen already with a quite good gap and gaining lap after lap. He is just aiming for the cars in front at this point. "13 seconds is the gap between Harten and Vantinen. And he has been gaining quite some time. I think we can go just here for... Okay, never mind. Okay, I will just give up because every time I try, it just doesn't. At this point, I just don't try anymore. Gap obviously rising from Wegman's car at 4 seconds. It also doesn't help that the lap time has been at 01.9 for Ponticelli, whilst it has been at 00.6 for Wegman, 00.2 for Vantinen, 00.9 for Harter, and Heck has made very little progresses towards a largening of the gap. Chance could appear now. Ferrari literally in the middle of the road. Giovannini that was trying to go for a move that was frankly impossible to concretize. He has a better line towards the final chicane. And also, he will have a better top line speed. Braking on the outside, and I think he also maintains it into the racing line and makes the overtake for 8th place. Our next objective is Wegman, although 5.5 seconds up ahead. And I think the 352 has been involved in an incident there. Oh, there was a contact again with the same Ferrari as earlier. It was again the 473. Oh wait, it is... oh no, it was the same team. Huh? Okay, oddly enough, these were the same teams, huh? But different cars. So oddly enough, all three cars have been involved in an incident so far for the QRT. And two of them were with the same team, with the same tech cars. As you go back here, 10 seconds have been applied to Ponticelli for causing a collision. As Gallo goes into the pits. In the last 120 seconds, as I gained some time, 3 times over Eck up ahead. But more importantly, Vantinen gained a whole second in just a lap, lapping under the 2-minute mark into the 59.995. So barely just under 2 minutes, but still the only driver so far which made it, because now Savini went for the same 59.9. Only 2 teams which are capable of going below the 2-minute mark. This actually helps number 11, which is now 16.5 seconds behind the second place car. But actually now it's going to be the same script as the drive-through happens for Tironi in the 77. For exceeding track limits. With the drive-through they should remain 13 seconds ahead of Staffin. This will be a bit of an issue. See a situation with Murasaki, which is already 6 seconds up ahead. So if there was a dim chance earlier on, now that chance becomes practically 0, unless there is going to be another drive-through for Murasaki. Going into the pits already, so it's going to be 30 seconds loss for the Italian. Osorio here trying to get in front of Sanchez. That's opportunity for the place. Robinson gained, rather received a penalty for what happened earlier on by 15 seconds, for what happened on the hairpin with number 43. Still battling after the 734. Made a bit of a mistake, losing 10 seconds in the last lap. So also the position on Monsu. And now Osorio is on the window looking at it and preparing for a possible assault. Between the two battling for 4th place at the moment has been reduced massively. Only 4 attempts between Ek and Harter. Zero 1.0 for Ek, 0.5 this time around for Harter, and until behind as with the pace a bit below this time around, 0.3 only for the Belgian, only obviously in comparison to what he can achieve, because still he gained on these two teams in the last 120 seconds of lap time. We go with Digner too. So now we are getting closer to the stint limits. Still 20 minutes to go, but we're just missing some laps to get it into the pits. I think this could be the best chance for the Aston Martin that actually lost a bit on exit. There could have been some space for... oh! Something happened at the hairpin. For 1, 2, 3. Losing several seconds there. They went for a spin by themselves. It was actually the 41 making contact with them. Back over the racetrack, but this is what happened with the 41 Ian Thompson. But this was another contact. Two different contacts, or maybe it was a simple mistake by the number 1, 2, 3. Now in 24th place as the Mivu lost the position on both Sanchez and Osorio. Savini goes into the pits. Of the pits, it's going to be Barberi that will continue the run for the number 11 towards second place. So also there is a very good chance here for Van-Lieshout to get in front of Landolfi, or rather the opposite, Landolfi to go in front of the 474. It's a very close situation between these two. But Landolfi for now remains behind the FRL car. The FRL car, it's the Simtech car that gets overtaken by Landolfi there, utilizing Ferrari in front as a bit of a tow. Getting into 16th place. Stint timer, it is just 5 to go, so that was effectively a overtake for position. To go back here. So the first of the pit stops start to happen. Usually a stint is around 60 minutes, since the stint timer is 65 minutes effectively. Not much tactic that revolves around that. Also Sake goes into the pits for their pit stop, which will put them back in second place without too much trouble, unless they mess it up completely. So you can see here, very close between these two. They've been together for practically the entirety of the stint. This time, oh, a bit of a long shot for Harter, and to go over track limits to try to get a bit of a tiny advantage. Not too much, otherwise you get a track limit violation. You just have 3. Fourth one is going to be a drive-through. It was off the track, but I think they didn't reach a violation there. 10 seconds only between the 11 and the 441 at the moment. Volkswagen went into the pits, trying to undercut Giovannini, very likely, rather than Van Tielen, just to avoid getting in danger zone, just jumping the gun, so they can stay in front of the Italian. And I think the same has to be done for Harter, although they still have 15 minutes on their stint. Maybe an undercut could be a good choice. Trying to jump, cutting fourth. Because now Van Tielen is just 7 seconds behind. No, 6.5, although there was a mistake by Van Tielen clearly, since his lap time has been colored in red. Well, a mistake, if any mistake was made, I don't think it impacted that much the performance, since the last lap was a 2:00.0. Six times better than Harter and X1. So it's a constant improvement for the Belgian driver. He already gained the 2 places in this stint. He could gain 2 more, even before the end of the stint, because at the moment they have... No, wait, 10 minutes? No, it's not enough. Because it's 5 laps and there is a yellow flag. 511 is off track and stopped on track on Spoon. Oh, there was actually a contact there with a Porsche. It was again number 41 making another contact with another car. Oh, 2 cars, rather. Having a better view at this. So it was... Okay, thanks a lot for showing me the good replay. Just give me the good one. This one here. So this is what exactly happened. The Porsche missing the braking point altogether and hitting the BMW from the rear left quarter panel. Situation remaining practically the same here. 934 for Advisor, Racing Team, which has half a second of gap to Van Lieshout for SimTech, as a Ferrari goes off the racing line altogether to let them pass. Too wide for the Porsche driver there, looking to make a move into turn 1. The curve a bit. He's sliding there over the curb. quite clear that a chance could happen very early. Some rear end damage for the Ferrari ahead too, which will be impactful for performance into the fast corners. But Carner could have the chance here for position. So the Ferrari remains in front. Oh, there was a little mistake for the Porsche driver. The rear slipped off. Managed to gain back the traction, but lost some time to the car in front, although not that much time. Scanner remains still behind the Ferrari, but the turn 1 there could be a difference, as in fact it's going to be very lethal. Goes into the pits. Looking at timing, Carner doesn't really have much time out of the pits, practically a lap at best too, but I think it's going to be enough just to create the second they needed to stay in front of the other Ferrari. At this point has been behind the Ferrari for the entirety of the hour-long stint. But there are 2 hours and 40 minutes to go. The pit lane is just there for them. But still, they decide to stay out and follow the strategy. It's in sight. The car in front has to pit. The gimmick is that they have to pit a lap earlier than Eck. He's obviously the 331 went into the pits a lap earlier, an hour ago. Then the 177 as Giovannini goes into the pits. And Podium, which also stayed in for a couple of seconds more, since we had to go through a 5 seconds penalty, and Podium had to go for another 10 compared to the usual 30 seconds. Last time around, Eck improved the pace a slightly bit, but Van Tielen, I'm putting much pressure on this driver because in the last laps he has been a hammer. Last time around even below the 2 minutes mark, submitting a 59.9, and now he is 3.5 seconds behind Harter. And Undercut is slowly, not yet, but slowly becoming one to defend against the Belgian driver rather than overtaking the Swedish ahead. I said earlier on that it wasn't possible to get them into this stint, but nothing says that they can't take them by undercutting. Because into the stint timer, Van Tielen will have one way or another to pit before the Harter if they remain out the limit of the stint, since both the 14 and the 331 went into the pits up earlier than this 177. And the tail decides to stay out. This just helps all the cars around them. Because the strategy could be completely different at the moment, and yet they think it's better to stay out. Possibly they really want to make a final stint as quick as possible. It was a very short over the curb for Eck, going over the grass too. And remember that if you try too much to go over the curb, you may jump it out. And now Eck goes into the pits, and same goes for Van Tielen. And I think Harter and the TC Racing, I will stand by this. I think they made a bit of a mistake by staying out all this time, because they will not get the undercut on the car in front, and it could also be the 14 to get a better hand of it. I can understand sticking to the tactic as much as possible, but I don't think this was the right moment to do it. Which just exited the pits and is now battling with Savini, position number 17. Rega already is getting a bit larger for buff. Like over the second already in the first lap. So Arthur goes on the pits. On the verge of stint timer limit. The Brewer is now driving the car number 14. 2 seconds behind Zakdal in the 331. Very likely the 331 is going to be ahead of 177 unless something a miracle happens. So 177 goes out of the pits, gets overtaken by 331 FRL, and now the Bauer is just a second and a half behind them. So effectively what happened is exactly what I said. Number 14, which now could have a chance to get into 5th and 4th place. Importantly, even the number 11 is getting very close to the 441. So Armocrat are really trying to gain as much time as possible to the car in front. For now I think we'll go here because now Thomas Walsh for SimTech Racing is very close to Barf up ahead. Over the hairpin they go. And the overtake happened for the Porsche driver lineup. Advised Racing Team number 934. Now they have to defend against the Ferrari behind. Because between these two, but the time says differently. Last time around it was 02.0 for Barf and a second less for Walsh. Obviously the time now is the same, but mostly because Walsh couldn't really overtake the car ahead. This will be the good opportunity for Walsh into the hairpin. The better exit. He will have the slingshot advantage over the 992. important to notice that at the moment, situation in 4th place remains the exact same. A bit too much outbreaking himself in the Porsche 992 there for the team placed advisor car. She lost a tiny bit of time, but still they remain in front of 296. Very close for these two. Now Barf remains still ahead, and quite clearly he's not leaving the place without battling. Now he is defending quite well against the British driver. Couple hundred meters ahead, there is also the battle for 16th place against Sanchez and Savini. There's also a little battle for 12th place happening right now between 93 and GT1. Ralrock against Velman. A drive-through has been issued to the car number 218 in 15th place, exceeding track limits. And 3 laps to go for them to make it into the pits, although this will not be so much of an issue considering they have more than enough time to cover it to the minute and 9 seconds for Elmstrom to cover, which now will become already 40 seconds, but it's not going to be quite an issue for them. 5 seconds has been issued to the 934, so virtually Walsh is already ahead of Barf. Appear is slightly closer. Oh, little touch between these two. There wasn't any touch. Sanchez remains in front. It was close between these two, with the BMW going over the inside. As also Velman took the place on Larocque without really any battle, considering I think the number 93 TSE let them pass for a difference in class, which means that battle effectively wouldn't bring anything except the overall position. Perfect, going for the waves, trying to hit the tires. So maybe there is an issue with the pressures being too low for the advisor racing team. So now they go into the inside. I think there is going to be a move. Yes, indeed, it's going to be Savini that goes over the inside and takes the place over Sanchez, who now has to try to defend against Barf and Dwarf, which are coming quite quickly. Rapidly over the 17th place. Although, as I said earlier, Barf has a 5 seconds penalty to their name. To behind are practically following as if it was a train, but you can see Barf going up extremely deep on the brakes. This could be a good chance for Barf to tighten into position and run away with it. Though Barf at this moment is effectively not only a second, okay, not only 2 seconds behind Walsh, it is Muntenau who is going to be ahead of Barf at the moment. The 5 seconds will be issued, and with this rhythm, this means that Advisor will lose 2 places from where they are at the moment. And the car in front is not really helping the situation. Or maybe trying to go for the move. It's going to be the Porsche driver, although they remain behind. Number 734. SimTech Racing follows closely. Very clearly trying to take a position of advantage over the Porsche driver. Over inside of Degner 1 can't be made. Oh, it tries to go for Degner 2 though. Although very close to the Porsche ahead. Nothing really happens. Tries to go over the right. Nothing really happens even there. For the hairpin, they go, and I think there's going to be a move there for the number 474, and SimTech Racing takes the place over Barf, who is now in contention for 19th place. Effectively, but virtually, this is 5 seconds behind. Because up ahead, Macaretta is very close to the car in front. Notice the Bauer is not gaining as much as I thought. For now he is 3 seconds behind. And quite importantly, Takari is losing a lot of time. Now 22 seconds behind Ulrich. Plaus is in fact getting lap after lap very close to the number 51, gaining a second and a half per lap. 6 seconds is now the gap to the 212 and the 51. With Ulrich lapping at 0.9, so at the moment the situation is stable on these cars, and there's been quite the overtake there for Walsh. So it's a side-by-side situation for the Ferrari and the Porsche driver, with Walsh going over inside in 140R. There was also a car on the outside. Walsh now is in 17th place in the 474. Our next target is Savini, up ahead in number 52. This driver here is definitely putting a lot of pressure in all the cars around. Next target is Savini in 16th. And then it's going to be quite some clean air until Elmström. As Montino gets the place on Barth. That's for 19th. Elmström, which has a 10-second penalty just being applied to their name. Our next target for Era Esports, number 35, is Sanchez, which already lost 2 seconds from the car ahead. As blue flags are showing for these cars after the BMW behind has to pass. Quite an important situation comes out in the second place, because now Barbieri is very close to the car ahead. .3 seconds is the gap between the two. For now, we'll stay here for the battle for 16th and 18th. Ferrari has been gaining a massive amount of time on the cars around them, and now the Ferrari was thinking about something, didn't commit to anything. I think the next possible move is going to happen into turn 1. Extremely close. He has been this close for the past few laps. Now over the hairpin, where the move happened earlier on against the Porsche, he tries to go over the outside. Cutback move. Although I think the rear slipped off a bit for the Ferrari driver. For now the Italian remains in front of Walsh. Could be a good chance for Walsh to try to go over the chicane. It's going to be a good defending for the Italian driver. I think the exit speed is better for Walsh. He obviously recovers well from that thanks to the top speed advantage. I said earlier, battle for second place was developing, and now I think this is the chance for them. There's number 441 and the number 11 are currently battling. Ray now has a chance to go into second, already into the first chicane. The lap times are definitely good for Laberi, going into 0.7. As Walsh also has gained a 5-second penalty for causing a collision earlier on, or rather at the 474. It was a turn 1 incident that we saw earlier with the QRT eSport lineup, which means that they will have to make the pass and create a 5-second gap as early as possible. Oh, there was a bit of contact there between the two cars. I think this will be one of the few chances they will have. Degner 1 is a bit impossible, Degner 2 is very difficult. Nothing says that this couldn't happen. Side by side between these two. Trying to put the Revo as outside as possible. Leaving the inner side clear, and it's going to be Barberi that makes the place number 2. It's going to be the second place for Barberi, and Campos will be left with the third. That was a good move in Spoon. And now there is Clean Air up ahead. They have a minute to recover, which seems very difficult to be covered, but never say never. Because Barberi's pace has been impacted, or rather the 11's pace has been impacted by the fact that it had the drive-through to go after. It's in the first couple of minutes after the 4-hour mark. Now Players is very close to the 51 up ahead. Oh no. Something happened here. Drive-through for car number 331, 4th place for exceeding track limits. And it's going to be a drive-through fundamental for the top 7. Because they will very likely lose the 7th place too. That's the number 141 Aston Martin that will get the place gifted to them, practically. So a drive-through has been issued to the car in 4th place, so now Macaretta will be promoted to 4th, the Brouwer and the Zero Racing in 5th, and very likely it's going to be Holdfast Motorsport in 6th place. It's very, to be fair, it's actually very close, but I think there could be a brief battle for 6th place, to be fair. Players here is very close to the car ahead, the BMW 51. Now there's a long train of cars because this one is being held by Savini, which indirectly is putting a bit of pressure over his teammate, who has to go over the cars in 16th, 17th, 18th place, being held up by their teammate. Oh, there was a contact there! It was the Audi number 35. I'm not seeing any contact, but I think there was some from behind by the MSR car. There was some contact from the Aston Martin behind, with Sanchez and Barth overtaking the Audi driver, which has been impacted by players who now also has a drive-through for exceeding track limits. So, from a good chance to get into 8th to a drive-through which will put them behind the car in 10th place, number 5, with Pitacho driving it. Now over the pits they go. It's the same fate as the 331 who remained in front of Ulrich. Possibly a mistake for Ulrich. Jacobs very close to the car in front, that's a DSR. Also, Monteno received a drive-through for exceeding track limits, so some drive-through which reigned in the last minutes. Jacobs and Cadets. Which I think, looking at the fact that they have changed the driver, I think they received the drive-through for speeding in the pit lane rather than... I think they received it for exceeding the speed limit in the pit lane rather than the track limits. So they managed to change the driver. This is the battle for 20th place. Free State Racing, nothing with the QRT behind. QRT car very close to trying to make a move over. Can also look at this. Oh, look at this! That was very little space between these two. As behind comes Plus after the drive-through, aggressively trying to pass as many cars as possible in the same time. Because they have to gain back 22 seconds after losing it after the drive-through, and this actually gives a chance to Jacobs to try to go over the one for a move, which doesn't happen. Still they are one after the other. There's also a Mercedes behind it. He's trying to go for a move. There's a contact there. I can't pinpoint which Mercedes it is. It's the Assetto Racing team. It could be the number 18. It is the number 18. Trying to unlap some cars. As Jacobs managed to pass Kedis just there, we are to have a better look at this. There was some contact between the two. And this led Jacobs to make the pass easily overcade it. So in here is as also case goes into the pits. That's more because of stint limits. For Jacobs it's a bit different because I don't really know, because somehow it's showing me that they have been driving for 2 hours. So I don't really know how many minutes they've been out for. Oh, there was nearly contact between these two. Watch that little reminder, they have to pass and create a 5-second gap. At the moment the 5-second gap will put them just where they are. Not really any change would happen at the moment. Oh, that's... I think that was a bit more than one change of direction, as drive-through comes on the number 42 of Jacobs. After just making an overtake, they received a drive-through for exceeding track limits. Wait. I'm looking at this, I don't think it is for track limits. Let me have a look. It's very close for Walsh. It is clearly trying to get an overtake somewhere around. From clean air in front. 50 seconds, which will become 40 after this one will go after the penalty. They're going for some weaving, but I think the Ferrari has it this time. Oh, very inside. A bit of a late move by the Italian driver. Again, changing direction while braking, which is a no-no. I think if a penalty happens, I think I will know the reason there. Ooh, that was a bit off for the Ferrari, you can see there. 474 going over the curb, but I think we can go for a replay there. Suzuka creating over the splitter. Trying to cover as less time as possible on the racetrack. Put them a bit out of control. Maybe they received a track limit violation because of that. Still they remained where they were, which means still half a second behind Savini for 16th. As Jacobs goes for the drive-through, but naturally since after this lap they would have been given a disqualification directly. Still over the splitter for this view of the BMW. The 472 of Mark Conway is out in the 130R. Oh, they lost the rear all by themselves. Went for a spin. Oh, that was very close. Whichever car that was for, it was extremely close. Then checking time, it was the number 25. No, 35, apologies, it was number 35 of David Riccian. Was still here, and now Gallo. Chico Gallo. 734 against Carving in the number 2. But now they just switched, obviously they have to be 1/10 away from each other as Barberi goes into the pits. Leaving the position to the car number 4 for 1 for second just momentarily. So at the moment we have Walsh and Savini battling for 16th and 17th, and Carving and Gallo battling for number 21 and 22 in the standings. So number 197 is into the wall there. I'm seeing that Ferrari there having some issues. Oh, that was very close between the two. Behind them, faster cars are approaching. The situation remains constant between the two again. Another change of direction while braking, but this time I think it went wrong for the BMW driver, which gets overtaken briefly by the Ferrari. But for now remains behind. It hasn't been the first time that the BMW driver has been weaving while braking, which in my mind could bring some steward over the tension as Gava and Gallo switched positions 30 seconds or so ago. It was the BMW behind which took the place with some contact, I think, maybe not. Assetto also has been given a drive-through. And there's been a switch of positions here since Savini, the number 11, is now behind the 441 after spending too much time into the pit. And so this means the battle for second is still ongoing. Saki is now ahead of the Italian after jumping the 11 into the pits. I suppose there was a mistake that led the Vespa Sport to stay still 10 seconds too much, although also the 441 had 5 seconds too much. Very likely some damage repair. I don't think this means anything won't happen on the inside, on the 130R. A bit of an impossible task to ask for. Into the last 100 minutes of this race over the grass there for Sakeki. This will very well be the chance for the BMW, keeping the Ferrari at bay as much as possible. Sakeki tries to go for the outbreak, but I think, it is Savini who puts, oh no, it's a drive-through for Sakeki, exceeding track limits into turn 1, drive-through, and this will put them 30 seconds behind Savini. So this means the battle is already over between the two, but also there's been a switch of position between Walsh and Savini. The other Savini. Oh, it was the 52 going way too much wide over the hairpin and losing a lot of time. So as I was saying, it's going to be the 11 in second place, and very likely they will maintain the second place. And only 17 seconds ahead, it is Nakira, or Nakira. Every time I find it difficult every time, because the accent is not where I think it is. But a car was away to Stobben in the 18, still struggling to get back to race speed, lost the place on Svulberg and Low. As long as they get back to the racetrack. Corby here defending against Gava and Gallo. So Sakeki, after the drive-through, not only lost the podium, they are behind the number 14 and 14 seconds ahead of their teammates, although looking at the stint timer, 14 and 177 and number 4 still have to pit. And same goes for the 3-3-1. So much still has to be said about the positioning of this race. This moment in time, I effectively didn't went through it, but I've been looking at the times, and I think actually it's quite clear also by the fact that the gap is so little now compared to earlier on. But Savini is now 15 seconds behind the leader and lapping a second faster every time. So the situation for the number 11. Here there is a different train. This is the train for 20th place. As also there is a Ferrari passing through. Couldn't pinpoint which number it was. I think it was the number 331. It was indeed the number 331. In a bit of sandwich, they still have to pit 2 as they go through the McLaren driver. There is number 181. Wait, it is the number 141, apologies. Of Wegman, who is now back into the race track. He clearly made a mistake. He is now in 10th place, over the curb a bit too much, and he lost the rear. He didn't hit the barrier. Narrowly, but he lost a lot of time, so he's back in 10th place. Spain goes into the pits from 19th place, and Corving still remains ahead of this train, batting for 19th. Corving defending against Gava, trying the outside, and Gallo just behind, maybe waiting for some contact for the car in front, or the cars in front, rather. Oh, in fact, this happened! David is into the gravel, and the McLaren still maintains the line. Just in front of the Porsche with FRL colors, and now the view goes extremely wide on the hairpin, and it's going to be the McLaren which tries to put itself in front of the German manufactured car with the inline 4. The only inline engine in GT3 lineup. And the worst sound, like honestly, it is the worst sound. It's terrible sound. Every time you hear it pass, it's like it doesn't really make the race car sound. Like it's more like an effective M4. It's nothing different from that. In fact, it's also dull to drive. As now Gava goes into the pits. Same as Gardner, which leaves Gallo behind curving this time around. Sakaki is slowly trying to recover. The Brower is now 10 seconds ahead, 1.5 seconds ahead, and another 10 is going to be Macoretta. That's the amount of seconds they have to gain to get back to the position they were early on. From the timing is optimistic. They've been gaining around 4 to 6 tenths per lap on the car ahead, and another seconds. Well, second is a bit too exaggerated, maybe 8 tenths on the car in third. The number 18 this time around. Again, it's Nino Tobben. Oh, they just lost the rear all by themselves, then went for a spin over the grass. So Sakaki here is a little closing the cars ahead. Last time it was at 0.0, 473. This is the 472, which became a PowerPoint presentation. I can't find their... Here they are. Oh no. Not this glitch again. Okay, we'll stay with the Brower for the time being. I don't know why this is happening. Just after the update, this happens. I have no idea. Okay. Suzuka is back. And everyone, I think? Yes. Because apparently for certain reason you have to put an inboard camera. I have no idea why this happens. The moment trying to stay ahead of the whole group, because the aim at the moment is not Sakaki behind, it's actually Macoretta in front, since the three on the same tactic are the 177 and 14, the 4, and the 331, but the 4 is a bit too much ahead. Obviously, when Nakira will make the pit, Savini will do the same half an hour later. So this means that both teams still have to pit once more to get to the end of the race. In that moment, the number 11 will be on the lead for the time being. They still have to cover those 15 seconds to make it effective. There is a yellow flag in 130R. Can't see who that was. It was number 18 again. Because here the battle for 4th is obviously it's a momentaneous battle as the leader pits, so Savini will get back to the lead lap. And the Bauer will also pit, because as I said, the Bauer, Macoretta and Zakdal are on the same tactic. Sakaki is not. As here Kiss is going to get into contention for position with car number 1, 2, 3. They are kind of in the same tactic. 20 minutes of difference in the pits, but they will have to pit both once more. And this is the overtake for Kiss. It goes in 25th place, side by side over the secondary straight into 140R. This is the confirmation of the overtake. Also chiaramente has a drive-through for exceeding track limit. Interestingly, the 141 with Wegman driving the car has just set their personal fastest lap, 0.0, very close to that 59 which just some cars managed to gain in the last lap. Oh, there is a spin there! Just the McLaren. I think it was a 68, it was a 68 going sideways into Degner 1, losing the rear, going over the gravel and losing the position on both Kiss and Cadiz. And now 9 seconds behind Cadiz. It was Davide Monsu. Now Cadiz, who has lost a second to Case. He effectively didn't lose any position after what happened to the McLaren up ahead. Skarner is now very close to Gallo, as the Austrian is chasing the other Porsche. As the number 88 of Chiaramonte is stuck in the pit lane. as they went for the drive-through. You have a better image of what happened. Was it a contact or was it on themselves, maybe trying to go for the pits at the very last moment? Oh no, it was actually a contact with the number 18. Back to the fight for 18th. The last lap it was a 0.1.2 for Karner, a 0.2.3 for Gallo, a second of difference in the last lap only, which means that the Austrian will have a very good chance in the upcoming minutes to make a move, as we are about to approach the final stint of the race. And Wegman is starting just now to absolutely sending it, 59.9, 10 seconds away from Eck. All of a sudden Wegman decided to use violence, and now he is absolutely punching the timing screen. Giovannini 59.4, even for him a good improvement. Over his last personal best, which was a 59.7. Those 10 seconds between Eck and Wegman may become very little, very early. Push up here, not dictating the pace of these two. Karner, which lost, well, 934 Advisor, which lost the place on Gal after the penalty issued then of 5 seconds. Gandolfi is now a 5 seconds penalty. And I'm quite sure it could be for the weaving while braking. Just trying to have a look at it, hoping nothing really happens. I just need the... Here it is. It's now the 934. It's about to try the overtake. Over the Porsche in golden colors, and it's going to be from the outside over turn 1. A very good one if it can happen, but there is a contact between the two cars, and it's going to be Gallo still in front of the Austrian driver. So nothing really happens there. A 30 seconds penalty. Let me have a look at this, because just now... So this happened a couple of minutes ago. More than a minute. It was an incident between the Ferrari. I thought the Ferrari actually went off by themselves. It was actually a massive contact. And the 197 has been given a 30 seconds penalty for the contact. For that particular contact. I somehow can't find anything about the 52. Aha, found them. Okay, yes, I was correct. It was for moving under braking. It happened a couple of times too many. And I honestly think that I also, me saying it out loud like 4 times has helped the situation being accounted. But yeah, moving under braking is definitely a no-no. And don't really want to look at. Technically I'm trying to be as objective as possible, so unfortunately if you get caught while on the TV, sorry, not sorry. As an F34 goes a bit on the grass. This battle has been going on for some time. This was the moment when they had the closest moment, literally, since there was a contact between the two cars. Door to door, nothing to worry too much about in my mind. And this battle is going on since Karner is clearly hungry, or rather hungry, and angry. I want to say 2 things at once, incredible. I want to say that he's probably angry for the penalty, and he's hungry for 17th place rather than 18th. The gap has been going up and up as the time passes to Schiebel, although Karner is definitely more capable of a 202. They've been doing earlier on some 201 of high importance. And as such, I think this is slowing down massively the car number 934, who can still get 17th place instead of 18th. Could still be the ongoing situation. The diffuser is very close there. But inside there was a fault, but not the space, so one of the two had to stay behind. Over the gravel, they are trying everything, even the rally cross tactic, which will not really be helpful. It's important to state that Landolfi at the moment has a 5-second penalty for moving on the braking, and only 11 seconds behind it is Schiebel. So Barf, or Karner, apologies, after Barf's stint, is very likely also looking at 16th place at the moment. Still 1 hour and 15 to go, not much time left. And there is a car there into turn 1, which is not on the racetrack. It is Cian Doyle. Well, lost their rear into turn 1. It didn't collide with the wall behind, just into the gravel for them. So we go back in 18th. Scanner goes a bit much out of the track. The Audi behind is gaining a lot of time. Kitian is now 2.2 seconds behind. It was around 5 earlier on. Oh, okay. Karner. Okay, I really want to say it again. Because this was a nice one. Look at the wheel. And look at the direction of the car. Going over the right and dirty air while braking and drifting at the same time. Good save by the outside driver. Who keeps the car on track. And situation still good for operations. Schiebel in the last lap again an entire second. Yes, they did. Solana and Dolphin losing some time to 0.2.5 in the last reading. "15 seconds have been applied to the car number 212, and the reason is I still don't know. But there will be a reason. We just need to update the Google sheet. Okay, still not here. Be on Discord? No. Okay, well I will say the reason after. To the chicane. The foot was there, but not space once more. I think there could be a chance the diffuser in my face here. Literally on the head. But here there could be on the inside. By surprise, he goes on inside, takes the place, brakes very late, and yet remains on the racing line. A very good move there. I want to see it back from the helicam. It was Karner against Gallo. Gallo left the inner line to commit to the outside line, and as such lost the chance to defend. And now Karner is in 18th place. Next one is already another fight, because it's one between Rikitian and the Audi 45 and the Porsche here. Also car number 212. The reason is hitting and spinning. Aha! Maybe we can just number 45. Fortunately, I don't have it on screen. But apparently it was a contact with car number 35 while lapping them. So, okay, it was... Okay. It was effectively what happened earlier on with Rikitian into the hairpin while battling with the car number 51. 10 seconds have been issued to them, so Alfonsi at the moment is safe. Keaton has lost some time in the last readings from Gallo. Now the gap is 1.2 seconds. The situation remains clear in the top end of the standings with 51. Just when I said it, 51 is out into turn 1. They lost the place from Alfonsi. Oh, they lost the rear and then sat on the curb, and while joining back on the racetrack they also spun, so it's going to be Alfonsi in 8th place and Giovanni now in 9th place with Murasaki in 10th still. I feel the second I said it, I am astonishing sometimes. The second I said the situation is standing still in the top end of the field, something happened. So Giovannini is in 9th, 5 seconds behind Alfonsi, and they have to gain back the time they've lost. With 67 minutes to go, stint timers are looking okay. No one has to pit in the next 3 minutes. So everyone will stay out and every pit will be the last when they will start in around 3 minutes of time. Vessels here for QRT Esport. And there is another car off track. It is the number 18. Once more, we can see them. On the left, you can see there the number 18. Just recovered from the spin. A stopping of 30 seconds for Akitian. Stopping of 30 seconds. The answer will be said in a short time, but I think whatever the issue has been tremendous, because now Rakitian, which was gaining on Gallo, has a stop and go 30 seconds. Ah, okay. For racing conduct. Gallo is now closing back on Karner. In 18th place. You can see how close they are to at the moment. as Kitian is going to put themselves for the stopping of 30. Harsh penalty for the Era Esports. Now they are back in business. Carlo is quite close there to Karner. I thought it could have been an easy getaway for Karner, but apparently it isn't like that. And the 734 is still with them. So for 12th place there is also the battle for 12 between the 221 Formula Racing League and Staffing in the 93 TSE Racing. Which has been gaining an enormous amount of time as the laps went through. Very much on the outside, but still on the racing line, or rather inside the track limits. Now Josh Safi is going to start studying his rival to find a way to pass. The grey one is obviously possible singles for number 2. Safin at the moment is clear to stay in position number 2 in class. They are obviously battling for the overall at this point. So I will try to say it again. Last time I said it, it went horribly wrong for someone. But at the moment, the top 5. Okay, never mind. I will stop here because I just saw that Van Tielen is. Oh, there is a yellow flag. 787. There's been a contact there between the 88 and 787. I'm going to see the replay from here. So something happened between these two. Oh, there was a contact there. The Mercedes 88 making a collision with Handy. who is in 14th place. But as I was saying, I saw that Van Tieren is driving the car number 14, so this means danger, and there are very likely 1,000 red alarms in Harter's studio, because Van Tieren is fast. He is one of the fastest drivers of the field at the moment, and his first couple of laps were already an entire second faster than Harter's one. So in 6 laps we will see something. 6 laps means 12 minutes, as we are into the final hour. So every pit stop you will see is the final one, and there will not be a second one. Stack is also heating up. This means that you can go a bit more calm on the tires. You don't have to struggle that much to hit them up. This is the closest battle we have at the moment. Gallo for now seems to have lost some gap to the car in front. So this means the car is safe for now. Very close to the curb. Until another half second. So number 14, one to watch. And also let me have a look at this, because now that I think about it, no. Okay. I thought there could have been some shenanigans about pit stop, but it's not the case. Stuff in Suzuka is one of those tracks where it's very easy and very hard at the same time to overtake. Personally, I find it very easy to make it into the Gunner 2, and the chicane is definitely one of my favorite places to make a move, mostly because you can go wide and quote unquote making it an accident, as every racing driver knows. Every time you go wide while in a 1v1 is always, oops, not on purpose, trademark. But yeah, the chicane here, you can, honestly, I know I shouldn't really say it, but I also am a driver, so yeah. Dive bomb and make it an accident. It's an easier way to try to go for an overtake. And turn 1. Turn 1 is also a very good one, because you can go for the outside rather than inside. Inside is actually weaker in my mind than the outside, because the car, you can see here, it's banked. This is slightly banked and you have more grip on outside. So if you go for the inside for the move, you may fail for it. If you go for the outside, it may go very good by surprise. Also because your adversary doesn't expect you to go for the outside. As here Shibal, who is already in 16th place, has got himself behind the BMW and is going to go for the move into the chicane. BMW placed very well in the middle of the road. As this could be the move switches the two. Also on track. Either way, in the next pit stop there is going to be the switch. Willing or not. For Landolfi. The gap ahead is 51 seconds, so very likely Schiebel is going to stay behind and just wait at this point. Different situation here where Staffin has to overtake. As here, I think it's going differently than I said just 2 minutes ago. Schiebel is... Oh, there is a drive-through there for the number 35. Another penalty. Track limits. Apologies if I stay a bit more silent than usual, but I have to go for 4 hours, and lately my voice has been on and off, so this is why today I've been a bit more silent than the usual. And it's also... I kinda have to go on for 4 hours, and I can't really shout as always. That's why sometimes you see... You hear less of me and more of the cars, which I probably think it's a good thing for the general opinion. So 140R here. Just staying one after the other. As they pass the car number 88. Could be a good chance for Staffin in the undercut, because Staffin will certainly have to go for the undercut. The question if he is willing to go even before the usual time. And looking how the TSE works, I don't think this will happen, as they usually try to stay out as much as possible. Schiebel goes for the pit stop way earlier than the end of the stint, possibly to get rid of Landolfi, who not only has a penalty but also was slowing them down. Wink wink for the TAC team. Oh, this was a bit off for the rear of Verman. Unfortunately for Shibel, I think they just missed their pit phase in optimal manner, because they came out in 20th place just behind the vessels. So they still have to make an overtake, and now even on a slower car. As you know, they have colder tires, so they can still try to clinch it, but they have to make it quick, otherwise they will get caught, maybe, by Kanner. So 47 minutes to go. For now, Staffing remains out. Now Aston Martin is trying to find some ways to make an overtake without being able to do so. Such as different lines into turn 1, or the S, Suzuka S. Very close over the hairpin there. Still, nothing concrete has been taken into action. A bit of space to Vedman, maybe to get a better line after the chicane. As Euro flag sparkles is the number 52 of Landolfi, who lost the place. Oh, I think there is damage to that car. There is damage to that car. Oh, there was a contact and subsequent crash into the barriers. It was the number 41. It was number 41 making contact with them. I want to see this back. And Erika, you can see... No, it was actually the Audi. Apologies. So it was actually the Audi making contact with them. I don't know why it stated it was the 41. It was actually the Audi, the 35, which collided. You can see from here the slag bonk, which throw the BMW of balance, and this means Landolfi will not only have to pit but also to repair the car, and very likely, apart from already losing the position on both Karner, I don't know why I'm saying it, Karner and Shibel, he will very likely lose the position on Jacobs too. It's not a good situation for them. God, the front end is completely dusted. They go into the pits. The good news is they still had to pit. It's not like they have to make another. So it's less of a damage than anything. It's more of a damage control at this point. Also Jacobs goes into the pits, and also Bellman is going into the pits, so this means they will do the undercut on Staffin. Savini jumps into the pits. Bellio and Nakira are about to lap the entire field in this race. Absolute performance there. So Wolf is still in the pits as Jacobs resumes. Now out of the pits, but just behind the Ferrari. They've been in the pits for 30 seconds too much. So I expect some penalty on the Audi, which at this point has been collecting penalties as the time passed. Until at this point is very close to the car in front, you can already see them. They are the Aston Martin 177 behind that Porsche over there. This could slightly help them. This slightly is a weak word, because I think slightly has to be substituted by massively help Van Tielen. An entire second has been lost in the chicane. The 88 is off track in 140R again. Number 41 between the middle of the racetrack. They will leave the way for Van Tielen to pass through. Immense cut for Van Tielen over the chicane on the limit of the track limits. Try to gain those little temps that will help the Zero Racing, which is now 8 temps away from Harter. Oh, that's a bit wide for Van Tielen. A bit too much over the curb. Have to see it back from here. went for the inner side. I think he jumped the curb a bit too much. No, he actually just missed the braking point slightly. Those will be 3 attempts as Low gets next to Blauwitz. It's for 28th place. Security Sport and the SimTech Racing make contact and both spin, as Blauwitz also gets a drive-through for exceeding track limits at the same time. Tremendous situation for these two drivers. Oh, it was the SimTech car going a bit too quick, making contact with them. Also, Blauwitz receives a drive-through as Gordon exits the pit, gets back into 13th place. As Besseling here, for us racing team, is battling with Silverg. Position number 43. As this one is effectively battle for position. As the number 18 has received a stopping of 30. As I think that is going to be the overtake for position. It's going to be the Assetto team side by side with the 5-1-1. Oh, little contact between the two cars. Silverg clearly doesn't want Besseling to pass by. As a 10 seconds penalty has been issued to the car number 45 for the contact with the 52. Obviously deemed the Audi responsibility for the incident. This one is the closest battle we have gotten track. Since this is, to be fair, the battle for 31st place after Messina is just here, the number 88. Besseling is a bit stuck at the moment in this pack. As also up here in front, Van Til and Harter very close one another. I think it's going to be a contact. There is a contact. Oh, there is a domino effect, and the Audi has also been involved, but I think Harter will have the position back. Important situation that happened here. You can see from this view, Ferrari was trying to get into the inside. It was honestly a bit impossible to make it through until it took the place momentarily and then gave it back. Whilst here, Taylor and Silverg made the switch of position. You can see here the Ferrari should take the place back, and where the play was going, I think an incident happened between these two. It's quite clear since I'm seeing there was a replay. They were battling. The move was inside, and there was a contact, and the 511 was off track. And the 197, apologies, off track over the grass and lost the place on Sulberg. As here the battle continues, as Bellio officially lapped every single car on the grid, although they still have to pit. But they did it. Technically they did it. Oh, Van Tielen, and oh, there was a contact there. It was quite clear a contact between Van Tielen and Lopez. We can have a better look from here. The Audi commits to the racing line, and then slight contact between the two cars. Van Tielen is now again a second behind. Gordon now in the number 93, trying to reach again for the 2-1. And Sulberg here, after some people got some penalties, the drive through for Low, 10 seconds for Lopez, but still the one penalty they had earlier on, and a 15 penalty for Sulberg himself for a tap with the number 81. This is the incriminating incident. Okay, I missed this one. That received a 15-second penalty. As now Sulberg is trying to go in front of Messina on the inside. And nothing will happen there in 32nd place. Drive through for Lopez. Now I will see if it was for track limit violation or if it was a penalty. I think it was a drive through for track limit because the lap time is in red. As these two are still switching positions, Messina is now in front of Sulberg with the main straight. I think there is contact. Oh, there was a bit of a contact between the 18 and 511. As there are 15 laps to go. As here Van Tielen is very close to the car in front there. I think at this point it may make sense to go for the pit lane and do the final half hour as it was a qualifying session. Because in a final half hour you probably want to go as if it is a hot stint session. 12. Now they remain one after the other. That's a battle for third. Momentarily. Since the 4 for 1 behind went in the pits, so this means they will be in third, so technically this is a battle for fourth place. See the difference in line between Van Tielen and Harter. I'm starting to think, and it's a bold statement, but I started to think that they may avoid going into the pits because they want to stay with the same tire. Just this came out of my mind. But I think, I really think that that could be a choice. It's a risky choice, but if they want to get a position more, they may have to do that. Because I'm looking at the current situation, I think they are battling each other. At this point they are just battling each other because Eck is 45 seconds behind them and Harter is well, Harter and Van Tielen are going to be around the 6th second behind Stakeki. So I think all of three are thinking, what if they don't do it? And the 52, again, I'm seeing the 52 not in good shape. Oh, they are actually facing the wrong way. Oh, there was a massive contact there with Assetto Racing Team. What happened there? Absolutely demolishing the car there. And leaving the car out of itself. Was it something? Oh, it was just very unlucky. And now Landolfi will have to go into the pits again. Although, I just want to see from here if it was avoidable. I mean, if you see a car sideways, don't go full throttle. It's not a good idea to go full throttle if you see a car sideways. It's, come on. It was avoidable, completely avoidable incident for Landolfi, which put a foot on the throttle and hoped for the best. But the best didn't happen. Actually, the worst happened. And I think this rule has to be, like, printed somewhere. If yellow slow down, it's not a way to gain more time, but okay. This is a tale as old as time, so at this point I just give up. I'm saying it every time I do the commentaries. So, now Bellew goes into the pits. 1 hour and 3 minutes. So, it's time for the 14 to go into the pits and see which tactic they will go with. Because seeing that 10 laps remain, I think that not putting new tires could be an idea. Looking at it, I think the same goes for Eck and every car that pits now. They could do it. It's a choice. it may fail. Okay, I think they slowed down on the limit. On the absolute limit. Okay, I want to say it again. From here. That was... I think they went into 50 kilometers per hour the second. Not even the second, the moment they put the car over the line, it was 50. Not a meter before. It was on the absolute limit. They really want this tactic to work and to, in fact, it was obvious at this point. No tires, only 10 laps of fuel. Well, 10 laps, 14, no, I can't count anymore. 12, 13 at best laps of fuel. Same happens here. Will the same happen here? The same. Oh, even less. They went even less with fuel. 8 seconds only. They're on the same tactic. They all went for fuel only. Now Harter is going to be next on line. And it's going to be interesting because Van Tielen will have the outlap to make as much time as possible with cold tires. Well, no, wait, not cold tires, right? Because they didn't change the tires. But we love a bit more fuel. At least that. They have a bit more fuel. As behind, Gordon is very close to Caddy. Artin into the pit. This is the closest battle we have on track at the moment, even if they are 30 seconds apart, but just momentarily. It's going to be very interesting. Arter is out. 12 seconds. So they were in the pit for 2 seconds too much. Or 2 seconds too many. Sorry. For a bit too much. 2 seconds more than Van Tielen. And this means that Van Tielen is now in 4th place. Position taken. And advantage secured. Look at that. It worked. It really worked. That's here. Number 93. Ulrich, 5 seconds of penalty. Car number 141 for a incident with the car number 197, which just happened mere seconds ago. Slightly unavoidable contact in my mind. 5 seconds of penalty for Ulrich, which at this point doesn't really impact the race since they have 20 seconds of advantage on Alfonsi, but the main difference is that Ulrich changed the tires, so at this point that's going to be impactful for the race. Landolfi didn't pit to damage repair. Which means that Addison gets in front of Landolfi, which loses another place there after the damage. Surprised that they didn't go for a bit of an emergency pit stop to repair the car. He decided to stay out. Ooh. This will hurt. Because Murasaki drive through. And this is the reason for the drive through. Off the track into Degner 2. Track limit violation, drive through for exceeding track limits. So they have to go through the pits, and Lombardi is barely in the range. So number 77 can still get a position more out of this. As Gordon is very close to the FRL car. Smells like he goes into the pits. And it's going to be a change in position because Murasaki now has to recover those 4 seconds they've lost on Lombardi. Oh, a huge mistake there by the Swiss driver, which will give some room to Gordon to make the pass. And it's going to be position number 12 for Chase Gordon, as the Canadian is now in 12th place. And Ulrich drive through for exceeding track limits, even for him. Just happened. So this puts Alfonsi in 7th place. And Zachary. No, okay, Zachary is too far away. Alfonsi is narrowly going to take it. As Ulrich comes out of the pits in 8th place. But wait, they have a 5-second pen. I just noticed now. What, 3 minutes ago? I said like that the 1-for-1 was safe because it was 5 seconds over a gap of 25 seconds. Well, breaking news, they are not safe anymore. Because at the moment, not only they lost the position on Alfonsi, but they will lose the position on Zachary too. They have to move the car quickly out of Zachary's range. I should stop saying like anything at all. How is it possible every time I have a statement, that statement not only becomes false, but it also worse than expected? How? How does this happen? I don't want to say that who is in the lead, because I think that something will tremendously happen. But in the lead for now there is Mattia Nakira for Flat Out Esport in the same team with him. It's Simone Bellio behind. Daniel Savini and Carlo Barberi are for the Vesta Sport number 11. Christos Sakeki, Teneschina and Rafa Campos are in the FRL 441 with Jentel Van Helen and Frederick De Brouwer for Zero Racing in 4th place. Hayden Harter and David Macoretta for TSE Racing. Benjamin Eck, Melker Garbi and Alex Zaktal 6th place, 51 FRL. Andrea Alfonsi, Giorgio Ponticelli and Matteo Pittaccio, which, for who doesn't know, is the Italian voice for Sky Sport. And he does commentary for IndyCar. Okay, I have to say it correctly, otherwise they will come with lawyers to try to reach me. For the NTT IndyCar series. Then it's Martin Ulrich and Tom Wegman, 8th place. William Giovannini and Marco Zaccari, Vesta Sport number 51. Luca Lombardi, Federico Tironi and Sasha Meiattini, number 77, Flat Out Esport. Gilles Aleman, Yannick Plu and Johnny Murasaki, 11th 212 MSR, which is not Mayor Shank Racing, but it's Mission Spin-off Racing. Then Josh Staffin, Chase Gordon and Alexander LaRocque for TSU Racing. Marco Chiedi and Nico Pellman in FRL 221. Henry Handy and Adam Garner in the number 787 Remnant Racing, not the game, maybe. Sebastian Elmström and Adam Long for Pro League Racing, number 218 15th. Taron Schiebel for Simtech Racing with Peter Van Lieshoort and Thomas Walsh. Ian Barf, Manuel Novak and Fabian Karner in 17th place, 934 Advisor. Kiko Gallo and AJ Sanchez, 734 the Eagles Esports. Jeroen Jongen and Sander Jacobs in the 42 QRT Esport. Mark Conway and Lewis Robinson for Simtech 472. Sergio Osorio, Sven Corving and Domokos Keys in the number 2 FRL. T. Spain and Leon Vessels in the 352 QRT. Chris Cadiz, Luke Edison and Thomas Marcellino in the 123 in 23rd place for 3 State Racing. Alessandro Landolfi and Simone Savini in the 52 24th place. Fabio Gioffrida, Davide Monsu, Simone Sberla and Zefferino Gava are in 25th place in the 68 FMP Italia. Justin De Jong, Arnold Kessing and Niels Voorthuizen 301 Gazelle Motorsport. Kieran Lopez, David Richtan and Adrei Muntino 35 Audi Era Esport. And it is in 28th Daniel Blavitz and Lucas de Dougd in 43 as Besselink goes into the pits for a drive-through for exceeding track limits. In 29th place we have got Roy Blues, Craig Lowe and Jeremiah Schiebel in the 473 Simtech Racing. And in 30th we have got Jim Emanuelsen, Jamie Edwards and Kieran Laison, 167 Taylor Motorsport. Cody Besselink and Domenico Bilotti in the 81 in the pits. Mickey Taylor and Marco Vergue in the 197. I think it is Taylor Motorsport. Weekend delivery. Maurizio Messina, Riccardo Chiaramonte and Youssef Aboussed for Flat Out Esport in the 88 with Nino Tobben and Karl Van Hoorn in the 18 Us Racing team. Number 41 is with Chris Gateman, Malvin Eklund and Ian Thompson. 36th place we've got Ivers Vulberg, Daniel Holvorsen and Sian Doyle and Tori Miller for the number 511 TSR. James Williams, Derry Bro and Mark Gigi for the number 55 in 47th place, and Chris Jones and Nigel Longden in the 792 Honda finishes the grid. Now they said all the names. This means all of them will crash. But the moment the closest battle we've got is this one for 22nd place. 8/10 of a second as Luke Edison is trying to gain on Payne. those 5 seconds that were distancing Ulrich and Zachary apparently not only have been reduced, but also now, well, no, it's actually only that. There isn't anything more than that, it's actually that they've just been reduced. But it's the last 8 minutes of the race. Now they've been put there, I think it is number 51 in 9th place. They are going to make the overtake as quickly as possible since Ulrich has to stay within 5 seconds, otherwise they will lose the place on Ulrich. And unfortunately, after this blue flag situation, they are outside those 5 seconds at the moment. I don't think the QRT Sport will do anything to let them pass. In a... Oh, there is a contact, in fact, I was saying. Oh, another contact with the car in front this time around, and it's going to be the BMW. Oh, more contact, and more contact between the BMW number 123 and the 352 of the McLaren of QRT, and there is a good looking of the environment, good situational awareness for Payne, who saw the BMW rapidly approaching their position and went on the brakes to avoid getting demolished by this BMW. That was very close between the two. I would like to go for a replay, but I fear I may miss something more, since you can see how close these two are. They are effectively battling for the final possible... Oh, another contact, that's a bit too much. Another? Very physical at the moment. On the inside, the QRT, they will stay on the inside, and I think with this rhythm, they will stay on the inside no matter what. Obviously, side damage for both cars, but at this point, I don't think they really care. They are 17 seconds in front of Landolfi, who is losing time since the damage they received. They have Kiss in front, who is 7 seconds in front and is realistically unreachable. So they are just battling for whatever they can achieve. So this place here, the number 22. In all of that, Zachary unfortunately lost a second, so this means that Ulrich is safe. At the moment, they will stay in 8th place. Now look at this. Over the inside stays the McLaren. Flashing the lights, very likely saying, you either let me pass or I will create the door to let myself pass by. And in fact this happens, there is a contact, more contact, and you pass by. The McLaren stays behind, and that is the contact that may have ended the battle. We could see that. You can see that back from the helicam. The people launching the car, creating the passage. This hasn't been the first time they've made contact. This was the first time when The 51 had to pass. The BMW tried something which was honestly a bit too much. Then more contact happened. It was here. Which then led 10 seconds later to a bit more contact. You can see that was what brought the declaration of war on the table, and this was on the main straight. All the possible way to not let the BMW pass by, and I think the race control will look at it and say maybe not. Drive through for Van Tielen for track limits violations, and this is going to be position number 4 for Harter. The only thing they had to look at were the track limits, and they didn't, and they will pay with a position number 4 to be exact, and Harter will then become your 4th team on the leaderboard, as Ulrich is rapidly approaching Alfonsi, and I don't think they will do any battle whatsoever, since whichever idea of battling will lead them to a loss of time, which could bring the BMW behind onto those 5 seconds. In the meantime, white flag brought to you by Coach Dave Academy for Mattia Kia and Simone Veglio. Turn 1 and 2 into the S's. Third gear, aim for the curb. Not the outside one, this one. Here you aim for the curb here. Maybe that's the truth if your setup is soft enough, but if it's too much rigid, not really. You slightly touch the curb there and aim for the inner one to put your car as straight as possible. And then like the 1 and 2, you brake around here in 50-meter mark, you aim for the curb on inside. Outside, you brake there when the astroturf is darker green. And then all straight, you basically brake here when you pass the curb on the right. And then it's a hairpin, very tight to have a better exit. Flat out around here. You brake here when the astroturf comes to your right. You aim for the external part of spoon and then the inner part. You slightly touch the curb to have a more turning speed. You could aim for the external curb, but I think there was a car there. 140R. You downshift here. Oh, okay, they are already in 5th, okay. Because if you go in 6th, you can downshift. And then you brake here on the 5th, on the 50-meter mark. Chicane, right and left, and down right again. And it's the end of the 8-hour long race in Suzuka, and it's going to be Flatout Esports that completes the race in P1, 1 minute ahead of Savini. And Carlo Barberi. But in silver class, it's going to be Andrea Alfonsi, Giorgio Ponticelli and Matteo Pittaccio. So double win for the team. P1 in class and P1 overall for Flatout Esports. Second place in class is going to be TSE Racing with Chase Gordon driving the car home. Josh Saffin and Alexander Rock with him. But I'm trying to pinpoint who is going to cross the line first among the cars. I think it's going to be this one here. As also, it's not over here, because there is also still a fight ongoing for position. It's Sander Jacobs in 19th and Sanchez in 18th. I think this will be the final move of the entire race. Can the Ferrari make it over the chicane? Oh, it's going to be closer, I think. I think the Porsche has it. The Porsche has it. The Porsche officially has it. It's going to be the Porsche in front of the Ferrari, so Savini for Resta Sports in second place. The Ferrari is going to be in third overall. Whilst in class it is Remnant Racing third in class with the race. Then we have got the second placed in class, TSC Racing in here, and the FRL car is going to be the final car to cross the line. So this was your 8 hour of Suzuka. Quite a good race overall. I just need to do this quickly. Very nice race altogether, with some battle until the very end. Okay. But altogether, this is your calendar for the endurance season. We have gone through the first 4 rounds. The next one is going to be the 6 hour at the Red Bull Ring in June the 1st, and then the big one, July the 6th, 24 hour North Life. The second branch of racing before the summer break of 2 months, and then the 6 hour of Watkins is the next one. But in the end, thank you so much to everyone who came in here to watch the race. I hope you all enjoyed the fighting and the commentary. Thanks to John Wright for helping for the first 4 hours and a half, and obviously to all the stewards and the drivers and the teams that went through this one here. Thank you so much. I will see you all on Thursday for the Masters, and very likely in the next endurance in Austria. But until then, thank you so much, and I'll see you all next time. Be safe, have a good evening or good night, or likely a good night, and see you next time. Bye.